Done. Arshant Charania reported Saturday that
what
Los
up,
Angeles
Sean?
Lakers All-NBA star Luka Doncic signed a 3-year, $165 million max contract extension. The deal includes a player option in 2028, and the 5-time All-Star signed the extension the first day the Lakers were able to offer him one. Here was Luka on the new deal.
It's an honor, playing for this organization. Many great players played here, so obviously I want to add one more up there, so that's what we're working for. Honestly, I think we have a great team. We have what we need to compete for the championship. I'll try to win every game, no matter what. And, we got some new great guys being on the team, and so, we're going to go for it.
All right, we've got the man in the house here in New York City. How we doing, my friend? Shams, why did Luka only sign a 3-year deal?
Pete, so he missed out on a $345 million max contract by being traded from Dallas to LA 6 months ago. So this deal allows him to recoup all of that money back in 3 years. In 2028, he has a player option. He'll then be eligible to sign a 5-year, $417 million deal. And so this was the best, most logical option for Luka Doncic to recoup all that money. He lost a lot in that trade, emotionally, financially, but now he's starting to get a lot of it back financially, clearly, with this $165 million deal. But he started to really ingratiate himself with this Lakers organization. Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, their new owner, Mark Walter, they developed a very close relationship, close rapport with Luka Doncic, his inner circle, to get this commitment. It was a very important commitment because he could have been a free agent next offseason. So he locks in this short-term money. And over the next 3 years, he can see, how are the Lakers going to build around me? How are we going to compete for a championship? So he signs that extension. He spends Saturday night in Las Vegas at the Backstreet Boys concert with Jeannie Buss and Mark Walter, Rob Pelinka. Very important relationship.
I like that. And I've been watching LeBron's Instagram, and he's playing golf. He's in St. Tropez. What's this mean for him?
So Luka Doncic is the face of this franchise. So this means that LeBron James, for the first time in his career, he's entering a very interesting ground here. And this is something, this is a very, I think, how do I put it? It's a tough line these sides are trying to cross here. Because we've never seen this. A player in year 23, it's an NBA record. He's about to be 41 years old in December. We've never seen a player play at this level for this long. And it's a tough line to kind of, that through line to cross, because on one hand, the moment you make this trade for Luka Doncic, he's your face of the franchise for the next 10 years. And so LeBron James, I've said it, he's supportive. He's understanding where this Lakers organization is going toward. It's going toward Luka Doncic. So LeBron James himself has to make some decisions, because how long do I have to play? That's the biggest one of all. Is this the last year of his career? Does he have a couple more years left?
Interesting. Let's shift gears to another international superstar, Giannis. What is the latest on his future with the Milwaukee Bucks?
So Pete, I'm looking at the date. We're standing here, it's August 4th, right? Sources tell me there's still nothing set in stone about whether Giannis Antetokounmpo will stay in Milwaukee or whether he will be leaving. And so he's continuing to evaluate his future. I reported it in mid-May that he's evaluating whether his best fit is in Milwaukee or is it elsewhere. And that process is continuing, Pete. There's been some very real conversations over the last week or so. The constant question that Giannis has, though, is, can I win a championship with this roster? Is this roster going to be one for this upcoming year and 2026-27? He wants to win a second championship. So he's asking that question over and over. There are multiple teams waiting in the wings potentially if Giannis this offseason still makes that decision.
Could he have not asked that question in late June, early July before free agency?
This is a very tough decision for him, though. This is 12 years he spent there. There's a lot of equity there. He won a championship there. This type of move isn't going to be easy, because this is a Milwaukee Bucks organization. They went out and they stretched and waived Damian Lillard, $113 million. They did that because they wanted to show Giannis, we're doing everything in our power to keep you here. But Giannis Antetokounmpo is the ultimate decider whether he feels this roster is good enough.
Miles Turner, are you watching? Let's go. Coming up, Caleb.
We've got breaking news in the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers and star Luka Doncic have agreed to a contract extension that is reportedly 3 years and $165 million with a player option for 2028. He was eligible for as much as 4 years and $222 million. But once this 3-year deal expires, he could sign a 5-year supermax with the Lakers. Doncic would have been eligible for a 5-year, $346 million supermax if the Mavericks had kept him. Instead, they sent him to LA, an historic and stunning blockbuster trade 6 months ago. CBS Sports NBA reporter Sam Quinn is joining us now. Sam, first, your instant reaction to this big breaking news in the NBA.
You know, it's not terribly surprising. The structure, I think, was the only bit of news that we were really waiting on. Was it going to be the full 4 years where he takes as much money as he can guarantee himself right now? Or was he going to be a little bit more strategic in the structure? That's ultimately what he did. He signs the 2+1. He guarantees himself $165 million right now, but he also sets himself up to become a free agent after year 10, where he can cash in on that 35% supermax. It makes all the sense in the world, right? If he was unhappy, we probably would have heard about it sooner. It seemed like from the moment he got in LA, it was a good match. They obviously lose in the first round, but it was a successful regular season. They have a good plan moving forward to get him a co-star. So this makes sense. This is one of the best players in the NBA, uniting with the biggest brand in the sport for several years moving forward.
Let's talk winners and losers on this deal here. And let's go with Luka right off the bat. Why is he a winner here?
Well, he gets to be the face of the Lakers, right? If you look through NBA history, that's a pretty coveted position. You start George Mikan, and then it's a pretty straight shot all the way through NBA history, where outside of a few speed bumps, they've pretty much always had one of the best players in the league. Goes to Elgin Baylor, to Jerry West, to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, to Magic Johnson, to Shaq, to Kobe, up through LeBron. Basically all throughout NBA history, if you're the best player on the Lakers, odds are you're going to be winning MVPs, winning championships. You're living in Los Angeles. It's very desirable. He's locked himself up there for another few years. He's under contract for at least 3 with the Lakers now, and he's done that to become the face of the most iconic franchise in the NBA. Right now, there are still questions about what the team is going to do moving forward, but it's the Lakers, right? Every time they get a star, they get a second to join him. They get LeBron, they trade for Anthony Davis. They get they sign Shaq as a free agent, then they draft Kobe, et cetera, et cetera. He should feel relatively comfortable that in Los Angeles, he's going to have a chance not only to win championships, but to become an NBA icon with the franchise that's been producing icons for 80 years now.
So the laundry list as to why Luke is a big winner here is pretty obvious. And again, it's a laundry list. There's a lot of reasons why. But in your mind, is there a little bit that he's actually kind of a loser in this deal because of what happened with Dallas?
Yeah, if he had stayed in Dallas, he would have been able to sign a supermax 5 years. The projection right now would be around $336 million. Obviously, he loses some money in this arrangement through no fault of his own, right? The supermax, the rules are set up so that you can only sign it with either the team that drafted you or a team that traded for you in your first 4 years, situation like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Tyrese Halliburton. He didn't ask for this trade, right? He didn't force it. That's what the Supermax rules were designed to discourage. They don't want you forcing a move to a desirable team and then also getting paid on top of it. He was traded in the dead of night. He had no control over this. He wanted to stay with Dallas. So even though he does get to a desirable situation in Los Angeles, it's not like he got traded to the Wizards. It's not like he got traded to the Hornets. But still, he loses out on quite a bit of money because of a trade that he didn't engineer. So in that sense, yeah, he did miss out on a little bit here. He's not going to get quite as much as he would have with Dallas. So in a small sense, he is something of a loser here.
Yeah, that money is gonna come eventually. He will make it, but for the sake of the conversation we're having, winning and losing at the same time, but yet still coming out on top. Speaking of winners, the Lakers, big winners in this, right?
Oh, absolutely, right? They traded for him with only 1.5 guaranteed years left on his contract. And because he didn't force that trade, you kind of had to be a little bit on edge, right? They had 6 months basically to prove to him, hey, Los Angeles is where you should spend at least the next several years, if not the entire rest of your prime. They lose in the first round. They have all of this drama with LeBron this offseason. He would have been justified if he would have said, hey, I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm going to play this out until free agency. Or, hey, maybe there's some other team that I'd want to play with. At least, before San Antonio signs De'Aaron Fox, there would have been some pretty, desirable destinations out there in free agency for him next year. If he'd wanted to go compete for championships as his first priority, he might have been able to handpick a better situation. But Ultimately, the Lakers secure the signature, as they so often do. It's very, very rare when NBA players will say no to the Los Angeles Lakers. And now that they have him locked up, they can focus on getting star number 2. If they're going to go out recruiting, they don't have to worry about guys saying, I'm interested, but, Luka's not locked up. I'm not sure. Do I want to come there and risk him leaving? That's not really on the table now. So you look forward to free agency a few years from now, 2027. At least right now, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Nikola Jokic are both slated to become free agents. That could change through an extension, that could change through a trade, but for the moment, both of them set to become free agents in 2 off seasons. Luka will be there, and he will be ready to recruit them.
Yeah, 2026, a lot of teams had that circled as a potential time where maybe they could get in on the Luka sweepstakes. So who right now, after seeing this deal, is kind of kicking themselves because they know they probably have to go back to the drawing board for next year?
Well, the short answer is every team in the league, right? If you had any designs on cap space whatsoever, Luka was the player that you wanted to use them on. I think San Antonio, with the Fox situation coming, had probably more or less moved on. They weren't going to preserve their cap space. They were going to sign him. The 2 teams that I look at as the really logical cap space teams were the Clippers, ironically sharing a city with the Lakers, and the Heat, both of whom have preserved their cap space for next offseason, and both of whom need a long-term franchise player, right? The Clippers have Kawhi Leonard and James Harden as all-stars, but those guys are both older. Kawhi has his injury issues. Miami is sort of in the desert right now. They're waiting after trading Jimmy Butler. How are they going to find their next franchise player? I'm sure they would have loved to pitch Luka Doncic, but alas, those teams are going to have to go back to the drawing board and say, is there another free agent in 2026 that we like? The answer is probably not, at least not on that level. Jaren Jackson Jr. is re-signed. De'Aaron Fox expected to re-sign. Could you maybe chase, say, Trae Young? Ironically, you look at the Laker roster, could you maybe chase LeBron? But there isn't another Luka, there isn't another guaranteed MVP candidate kind of player out there. The Lakers locked the last one up.
You brought up LeBron. We haven't really talked about him a whole lot in this situation with the breaking news, but if you have your win column and loss column, where do you put LeBron in this conversation?
Interestingly, this is not the sort of extension historically that LeBron has ever been willing to sign. Usually, at least at his peak, especially when he was in Cleveland that second time around, LeBron would sign these short-term deals, these 1-year, 2-year deals, and he would do that to exert maximum leverage over his teams. Luka theoretically could have done the same thing. Say Luka was unhappy with the state of the Lakers, he could have gone to them and said, I'm not going to re-sign. I want you to prove to me that you're capable of building a championship team around me. Then they would have had to start throwing draft picks around in trades. They would have to start giving out multi-year deals, not preserving cap space. That's exactly what LeBron wants them to do. LeBron doesn't want to think about 2027 free agency. LeBron will probably be retired by then. He wants them to go all in, but Luka signing this extension here and now basically precludes that. That's Luka saying to the Lakers, I trust you. I'm willing to give you the time you need to put the right team around me. LeBron doesn't want to give them that time. LeBron wants them to win now. Based on Luka signing this extension at this point, it seems like they're not going to go all in quite yet. They're going to wait this thing out, try to do it slow and do it right.
Sam Quinn, thank you so much. Again, breaking news here on HQ. Luka Doncic signing that extension with the Lakers, going to keep him there a little bit longer. Again, here are the odds to win the NBA Finals heading into next season. The Thunder, the defending champs, at plus 230 to get it done. We're going to have Ashley Nicole Moss jump on with us next to break down the big news here from La La Land that Doncic ain't going anywhere, at least not for a few years. The Los Angeles Lakers and star Luka Doncic have agreed to a contract extension that is reportedly worth 3 years, $165 million with a player option for 2028. He was eligible for as much as 4 years and $222 million, but once this 3-year deal expires, he could sign a 5-year supermax with the Lakers. Let's go ahead and bring in Ashley Nicole Moss for reaction on this big news out of the NBA. And Ashley, first, your reaction and what do we expect from Luka in his first full season?